Hello, welcome to another episode of In the Trenches with Gang Green. I'm your host, Bubbs. Today is Monday, November 25th. Hopefully everybody's having a good day so far today. This is episode 433 of the In the Trenches with Gang Green podcast. I thank you, as always, for joining me. For those tuning in on YouTube, make sure to please like and subscribe. As always, appreciate you all who are tuning in on all the different audio podcast platforms. The New York Jets are back from the bye week, and even on a bye week where the New York Jets did not play yesterday. We've got some major news here on a Monday out of one Jets drive, as the New York Jets, Woody Johnson is hiring help in the form of Mike Tannenbaum, former New York Jets general manager, of course, and Rick Spielman, both of them currently a part of the 33rd team to help assist Woody Johnson and the Jets front office on hiring their next head coach and general manager. So we'll talk all about that today on the podcast, give you my thoughts, break down all angles of this move and what it means for this team moving forward as we enter into another offseason where this team looks to find their solution at the two most prominent positions of an organization, general manager, and of course the head coach. As always, though, before we begin, let me tell you about our podcast partners, starting with our friends over at BetUS, America's favorite online sportsbook. Last episode, we took a look at the head coaching odds for the New York Jets. Since we're talking about the general managers today, let's take a look at the next GM odds here for the New York Jets. Ray Agnew plus 300, Ian Cunningham plus 350, Mike Borgonzi plus 400, Ed Dodds plus 500, and Alec Alby is plus 550. Those odds are courtesy of BetUS. Use my link in the description of this video to get a 125% sign-up bonus on your first three deposits up to $2,000. Also, our friends over at SeatGeek. If you're using SeatGeek for the first time and you want to get yourself out to an awesome sporting event, a play, a concert, a show, you name it, use promo code BUBSONSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase and get yourself out to some awesome events. Also, our friends over at Huga House, if you want any of their awesome collection of hats that you see many athletes and celebrities wearing all the time, myself included, of course, here on the pod, use promo code BUBS for 15% off any purchase. They just released new hats about 2 weeks ago. They're going fast, so get your hands on them now while you can, and get yourself some awesome swag. So now on to today's episode 433. Apologize for getting this up a little bit later in the day. Got caught up with some stuff, but we're still getting an episode out here on this news. So earlier today, Adam Schefter of ESPN here, of course, reported the New York Jets are retaining the 33rd team to support them on their upcoming general manager and head coaching searches. Former Jets GM Mike Tannenbaum and Vikings GM Rick Spielman will lead the project for the NFL technology media company. The 33rd team will provide its data analysis and experience to assist the Jets in their search for new leadership. And I know there's a lot of people out there that are kind of mixed feelings about this, similar to the Rex Ryan conversation. It's just that time of year as a Jet fan. All right, here we are, November 25th, talking about the New York Jets. If you would have told me at the beginning of the season that Aaron Rodgers would have played every single game up to this point, and the Jets would be 3-8, and not only are they 3-8, but they would be hiring Mike Tannenbaum, their former GM, to come in and assist the Jets to find their next head coach and general manager on Monday, November 5th, coming out of their bye week, I would have thought you were crazy, but here we are. That's the life of a Jet fan. You truly never know with this team. And similar to the conversations we had last week, which the fact we're talking about Rex Ryan potentially coming back is all you need to know about where this team is at as a franchise in such a disappointing all-in year at 3-8 here, going into this Seattle game at MetLife Stadium on Sunday, which will probably be half empty like it's been. But very split amongst the fan base, right? There's part of the fan base. I feel like there's part of the fan base that's it's really kind of 50-50. Like the Rex stuff, there's a half of the fan base that hates it. There's part of the fan base that loves it, and then there's a part of the fan base that's in the middle where it's like you don't hate it, you don't love it, you're open to it, but he's not your top option, and that's where I stand. This is kind of like there's part of the fan base that doesn't really like it. They don't really have much trust this is going to actually do anything. A lot of people still feel it's ultimately going to fall on Woody. And then there's part of the fan base that likes it. I don't think anybody loves this. Look, I don't think anybody's going to love it because the fact that the Jets are here right now is just disappointing. The fact that they're back here looking for another head coach and another general manager in an all-in year is disappointing. But I do like this, and I do fall into the Jet fan category that thinks this is a smart move and thinks this is a move that needed to be done. Look, we talked about it in just a couple episodes ago. We even talked about it when we did our general manager candidates episode a couple weeks ago about the need for Woody Johnson to hire help. We have seen teams, most recently the Washington Commanders, and I'm not talking about hiring Corn Ferry to screw that up. I'm talking about hiring proven football people with proven football backgrounds like the Commanders were able to do. And I know you had the whole Charlie Casserly and stuff and all that. But you look at what the Commanders did last year, right? They went out and hired, not only did they hire Rick Spielman, but they also hired Bob Myers, who was the who's GM of the Golden State Warriors, of course, built that dynasty. Hired those guys, hired a few names that, while Bob Myers doesn't work in the NFL, has experience of building an organization to a championship contender, hiring the right people, bringing in the right players. And Rick Spielman, of course, has many years of general manager experience, was with the Vikings from 2012 to 2021. They hired him, and that got them Adam Peters, their GM, and Dan Quinn. And I know the Commanders right now are on a 3-game skid, but they're still 7-5. Jaden Daniels looks like the real deal. They're in a much better position than the Jets. I would rather be 7-5 right now and where the Commanders are than 3-8 where we are. So my point is, we've seen this work. And my message to Jets fans here right off the bat that don't like this move, because I wanted them to ask for help, right? The Commanders did. We've seen previous teams ask for help and it worked. And I get the whole, oh, you're bringing back Tannenbaum, fired he's here, now they fired him, now he's coming back. Like, I get all that. You know, it's just the Jets. It's something that Jets would do. I get that. But if you're a Jet fan, would you rather Mike Tannenbaum and Rick Spielman, Rick Spielman, like I said, helped the Commanders last year get to where they are right now, helped hire Adam Peters, helped hire Dan Quinn, 7-5 right now, in position to make the playoffs? Or would you rather Woody Johnson do what Woody Johnson has done and go with himself and just hire somebody on his own? Or even worse, Woody go overseas, say, hey, Christopher, you're taking over the day-to-day duties. I'm out of this. You hire a coach, which we saw what happened the last time Christopher did that. Coaching to where football going. He got a call from Peyton Manning, and Adam Gase was at one Jets drive doing an introductory press conference a couple days later. That was pathetic. So that's where I'm at. Like, am I going to sit here and tell you that Mike Tannenbaum and Rick Spielman are going to find the next general manager and head coach that's going to take this team to success, and the Jets are going to be in the AFC title game next year and they're going to have a 1-year turnaround like the Lions and the Texans and the Commanders? No. But is it a better shot than Woody Johnson? Yeah, it is a better shot of them hitting on the right coach and the right general manager than Christopher Johnson? Yeah, it is. Because it's proven that Woody and Christopher have their heads so far up their rear ends, they're never going to get it right. So bring in football people that have experience of making decisions the right way. Look, Tannenbaum built one of the most talented rosters we've ever seen the Jets have. Despite the way it ended, his time from 2006 to 2012 saw the team make the playoffs a handful of times. Of course, the 2 title game appearances with Rex in 2009 and 2010. And they both got a lot of connections throughout the NFL. They're both well-respected individuals with a ton of NFL connections, which I think benefits the Jets here as well in terms of the old cliche, casting a wide net, looking for many options, looking over all avenues, right? Looking down all avenues, opening all the doors. Every door, making sure no door is left unopened. Whatever heck you phrase you want to use for GM, owners speak, whatever. Use that here because that's what Tannenbaum and Spielman will do. So obviously, Tannenbaum spent 1997, 2012 with the organization, the GM from 06 to 2012, as we know. Spielman was with the Vikings from 2012 to 2021. Both, of course, had some success. Both, of course, saw both their teams make the playoffs a few times. So two proven football guys. 3 years, of course, making the playoffs with Tannenbaum. Spielman with the Vikings, or as the general manager. The official, as the GM 4 times, and in some previously, while his entire time with the Vikings organization, which spans all the way back to 2006, saw them make the playoffs 6 times with him. So both guys with plenty of GM, plenty of experience, but also plenty of success. So I like this move for the Jets. I agree with the move. Like, I can't sit here and who knows, maybe Woody does end up making the final decision. Tannenbaum and Spielman conduct the searches. They give the names to Woody and say, here you go. You pick. Here's our insight. Here's what we'll do, but it's up to you. However it works. But Woody and Christopher could not be on their own once again, or have Jaime help them, who's done nothing when he's been in the organization for 6 years? He's been here forever and he doesn't do a thing. So something had to be done. Something had to be done. Insanity's doing the same thing over and over again. Having them hire another coach is just insanity, if we're being honest here, especially the way the last 2 have gone. In terms of some guys that the Jets could look into, 2 guys that have been directly linked to Tannenbaum and the Jets just from his days have been Dawn Aponte, who actually would become the first female GM in NFL history if she got the job. But she worked from the Jets from 1994 to 2005 in various different roles. So that could be a name from Tannenbaum's inner circle that the Jets could look into, a name that a lot of people have talked about bringing in for a while. In terms of Brian Gain is another name. He's currently with Buffalo. Is somebody to look for right now with the Bills, like I mentioned, but he worked with the Jets from 99 to 2004. Aponte is right now a current NFL executive, so she's just kind of in the NFL front office. Brian Gaines, the Bills' assistant general manager. We've talked about some names from the Bills that the Jets could potentially look in. Terrence Gray, their director of player personnel, was a name to look for. Look, if you're not going to bring in your John Dorsey or one of your proven guys, you're going to want to look for guys that are in organizations right now that are having success, especially organizations that have turned it around recently, right? Whether that's the Lions and Ray Agnew, whether that's the Bills, who, they've turned, not really recently, they've been good now for really since 2019, but you get the point in terms of not like they've just had this sustained success. Relatively recently turning it around. Bills turning it around with a young Josh Allen. Lions turning around right now with the right head coach, right GM, kind of where the Jets are. So looking for those type of guys, or even just guys that are in winning organizations that have been winning for a while, like the Chiefs. And the 33rd team, actually the site they work for, actually released a list of names to look for. Now, that list, I believe, has been since deleted from what I've seen and heard. And I think part of that is with these 2 guys who work for the 33rd team getting this gig, they probably don't want to release anything more or make this, any more public. But the list they had out last week, top general manager candidates, not just for the Jets, but for every team that could be looking for a new GM. Ray Agnew, who we talked about, assistant GM right now of the Lions. Mike Borgonzi, right now, of course, assistant GM of the Chiefs. Ed Dodds with the Chiefs, and Jeff Ireland with the Saints. So those could be some names. I'd also throw Dorsey in there. We talked about him. You want to throw Brian Gain. You want to throw Dawn Aponte. You want to throw Terrence Gray in there. There's a lot of names. A lot of names out there that the Jets could look to bring in. Go experienced route, Dorsey, somebody like that. Or do you go the inexperienced but assistant GM of a team that just turned it around, Ray Agnew route, which I would certainly be on board with. I think Ray Agnew is probably the hottest candidate from a GM perspective. There's a good chance maybe him and Ben Johnson find themselves on a team together. I don't think that'll be the Jets. I don't think it's smart for the Jets to bring in Ben Johnson. This is not a place for a first-time coach, but you never know. You never know with this team. So we'll see. But like I said, quick video here. Just wanted to get some of my thoughts out. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Mike Tannenbaum and Rick Spielman are going to hire, the next Bill Parcells for this team that isn't just here for 3 years, instead is here for the next decade. And they're not going to hire a guy that's going to start their own version of the Patriots dynasty where they win 6 rings here in 20 years. No, not going to get crazy. Not going to sit here and say they're going to hire the right guy at all. All I'm saying is the reason why I like this move, and I think the reason why as a Jet fan you've got to be on board with this move somewhat, is the fact that you have no faith in Woody making the move, and you have no faith in his brother making the move. And anybody else in this front office, you have no faith in them making the move. So at least bring people from the outside that are well-respected around the league, that have many connections, real football people that have been at the that have been in the position in the sport, like both have had many long experience at general manager. One of them knows your fan base, knows your organization well, and Mike Tannenbaum. And let them figure it out. I trust them more than I trust these two clueless owners we have, or whatever you want to, Woody technically the owner, but once he goes overseas again, it'll be Christopher. The two clueless Johnsons that are in this organization, no faith in them. I trust football people making football decisions, and that's what the Jets are going to have, and we'll see. It's a crapshoot at the end of the day. It is. It is. All these guys are available for a reason. They're all going to have their flaws. We can debate all the time. You just got to hope they find the right guy. All right. The Lions were a disaster. Now they are the poster. Everything an NFL team should look like is the Lions. Hopefully the Jets get there. Hopefully this is it. We'll see. A lot more talk. This is just the beginning. It's November 25th. This will last probably until mid-January. So we're probably in for another 2 months of this, which is not what anybody envisioned, and I don't think what anybody really wanted. But here we are. Strap in, Jets fans. It just got a little bit more crazier. Only the Jets can find a way to make headlines on the Monday after a bye week. That is crazy. The Monday after a bye week, the Jets still find a way to be one of the lead stories in the NFL. For a wrong reason, a right reason, whatever the heck, however you feel on it. Either way, they're a headline for more so the wrong reason, because they're having to look for another general manager, another head coach again. While I don't disagree with the move, the fact that they're here again is not good. But here we are. So that'll do it. Let me know what you think in the comments section down below about this move. Very curious to see the temperature on this fan base right now. What you think? Tannenbaum, Spielman coming in. And we'll have a lot more content coming your way the rest of the week heading into Sunday's game against the Seahawks. As always, appreciate you all so much for tuning in. Until next time, ATS, Jets, Jets, Jets.